Look at the qualifications.
Leyendo de las cualificaciones.
If it has already been declared kadosh,
Si ya de antemano ha sido
on the
declarado
menu,
kadosh en el menú, la
by
lista
the word of Yah
de la palabra de Yahuwah
and prayer.
y la
In other words,
oración.
don't you dare pray
En otras palabras, no te atrevas a
over
orar
that pig and lobster and expect it to be kosher.
por encima de ese puerco y esa langosta y esperar que sea limpiado.
First, make sure that it's on the menu,
Primero,
that it's
confirma,
kosher. Then pray and give thanks.
primero confirma que esté en el menú, en la lista del menú, y luego ora y da hodú.
So they stop at verse 4.
Así que paran de leer en el verso
So
4.
after service, we all go out to Denny's and have bacon and eggs.
Así que después del servicio, todos vamos a Denny's y
Excuse me.
comemos tocino con huevos.
Verse 5 says this.
Perdón, el verso 5 dice así.
You only give thanks and pray for it
Solo das hodú y oras por ello
if the prerequisite has been met.
si el prerequisito se ha cumplido.
If it's already been declared set apart by the word of Yah, and for that you have to check Leviticus chapter 11.
Si ya ha sido declarado kadosh y permitido por la palabra de Yahuwah, y para ello tienes que chequear en el capítulo 11 de Levítico y
So-
16 de Deuteronomio.
So how can people read this and get such different opinions?
Entonces, ¿cómo puede leer esto la gente y conseguir tantas opiniones
For the
diferentes?
Christian, this is a justification to eat pig.
Para el cristiano esto es
Pray over it,
justificación
brother, it's fine.
para comer el puerco.
Say grace, it's fine.
Ora por él y está bien, cómetelo.
For the Torah keeper, it's a forbidden to eat
Para
unclean
que
food.
el que guarda Torah es prohibido comer eso.
So what's the difference?
Así que, ¿cuál es la diferencia?
Rightfully dividing the word of truth.
Dividiendo correctamente.
I can teach a
discerniendo
dog or a demon to read the word and know
La
the
palabra
word,
de Yahuwah.
but that doesn't mean they're rightly dividing it.
Deuteronomio 14, perdón.
Verse 6 then.
Verso 6. If then you teach these things to the Israelite brothers, you shall be a Tov Eved of Yahusha HaMashiach, nourished up in the words of Emunah and of Tov teaching, which you have followed closely.
But refuse profane old wives' fables, boobamices. Train yourself rather by Shabbat guarding piety.
So keeping Shabbat even when you don't feel good and you have a headache and you have problems is part of your training manual that you just can't toss out.
Así que el guardar el Shabbat a pesar
Godliness in the Greek is asabeo, which means to engage in Shabbat training or Shabbat practices, because the Greek word for Shabbat does not exist. If you look up that word, godliness, in the Greek New Testament, it is eusabeo, which is the practice of Shabbat. Try telling that to Pastor Jones.
Eusabeo en el griego es lo que usan aquí en el Brit Hadashah para referirse a la
Look it up, don't take my word for
por
it,
guardar el Shabbat. Una
Every-
persona temerosa, piadosa por guardar el Shabbat.
Everywhere you see the word godliness in the Greek, it's practicing Shabbat.
Cada vez que ves la palabra eusabeo es
Don't take my word for it, look it
practicar
up.
el Shabbat. Y puedes investigarlo por ti mismo. Entonces no importa cómo te sientas de Shabbat a Shabbat, tú vienes como parte de tu entrenamiento es presentarte al Shabbat a pesar de tu condición de tu cuerpo, tu salud, tu ánimo. Tú te presentas delante de Yahuwah los Shabbats.
Verse 8.
Verso 8.
Yes.
For
Bodily exercise profits some,
but
Shabbat guarding piety is profitable for all things,
having the promise of the Chaim that is now and of the Olam Haba that is to come.
This is a faithful saying and worthy of all acceptance.
For therefore we both labor and suffer reproach, because we trust in the living Eloha, who is the Savior of all men, specifically of those that believe.
So in other words, the Bible does not teach universalism like the church, many churches do. Oh, everybody's saved, they just don't know it. No, the word says specifically, or in the King James, especially those who believe. So
Entonces la
there's no such thing as universal salvation.
La escritura no enseña la salvación universal. Es solo para aquellas personas que creen, como lo vemos aquí en el verso 10 de 1 de Timoteo 4.
These things command and teach.
Let no man despise your youth, but be an example to the believers in Israel, in word, in behavior, in ahava, in ruach, in emunah, not in purity.
Until I come, pay attention to reading Torah, to exhortation, to teaching.
Neglect not the gift that is in you, which was given to you by prophecy, with the laying on of the hands of the Shemashim.
Practice these things. Give yourself fully to them, that your progress may appear to Kol Yisrael.
Take heed to yourself and to your teachings. Continue in them, for in doing this you shall both save yourself and those that hear you.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Baruch Hashem Yahuwah. Chatzot, page 3 in your Sidurim.
Hatzot, página 3 en su Sidurim.
Sister Mariamne, the Rebbe and Rivka, page 3.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Uvyom Simchachem, Uvmodechem, Uvraseh Chachem, Utzkatem B'chatzosrot al Olotechem, V'yazefei Shalmechem, V'hayu lachem l'zikaron l'fnei Elohechem, Ani Yahuwah Elohechem. Also in the day of your gladness, and in your appointed times, and in the beginning of your months, you shall blow the trumpet over your burnt offerings, over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your Elohim.
I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. Baruch Shemon. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Blessed are you, Yahweh our Elohim, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments, and has commanded us regarding the blowing of the twin silver trumpets. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach.
Amen. Page 11 in your Sidurim.
Página 11 en su Sidurim.
If you're following by way of Sidur.
Están siguiendo con su Sidur.
Everyone. When the ark moved forward,
Aconteció que cuando el arca avanzaba,
that Moshe would say, "Rise up, Yahuwah,
Moshe decía, levántate, Yahuwah,
and let your enemies be
y
scattered,
sean esparcidos tus
and
enemigos,
let those who hate Yahuwah flee from before
que
him.
los que odian a Yahuwah huyan de delante de él.
For from Sion shall go forth the Torah in the kingdom,
Porque de Sion irá la Torah en el reino,
and the word of Yahuwah
y la palabra de
from
Yahuwah
Yerushalayim."
en Jerusalén.
Baruch
Bless Yahweh, the Blessed One.
Yes, and blessed is Yahweh, the Blessed One for all times.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, who has selected us from all the people and gave us his Torah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, giver of the Torah, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach. Amen.
Amen. Our Torah parsha
Nuestra porción de Torah
can be found in Bereshit,
la podemos encontrar en Bereshit,
Genesis,
Bereshit,
the book of your beginning,
el libro de tus inicios,
chapter 50.
capítulo 50.
Bereshit,
Genesis, Bereshit,
chapter 50.
capítulo 50.
Oh, I thought you said 15.
50.
Genesis chapter 50.
Génesis
Bereshit.
50.
Bereshit chapter 50. And Yosef fell upon his Abba's face, and wept upon him and kissed him. And Yosef commanded his Avadim, his servants, the physicians, to embalm his Abba. So this is when Yaakov died. And the physicians embalmed Israel. And 40 days were fulfilled for him, for so are fulfilled the days of those who are embalmed. And the Mitzrayim mourned for him 70 days. And when the days of his mourning were past, Yosef spoke to the Bayit, the house of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found favor in your eyes, please speak to Pharaoh, saying, My Abba made me swear, my father made me swear, saying, See, I desire to die in my grave that I have dug for myself in the land of Canaan, and there shall you bury me. Now therefore let me go up, please, and bury my Abba, and I will return again. And Pharaoh said, Go up and bury your Abba, even as he has made you swear. And Yosef went to bury his Abba, and with him went up all the Avadim, the servants of Pharaoh, the Shamashim of his Bayit, and all the Shamashim of the land of Mitzrayim, that's the elders. And all of Beit Yosef, the house of Joseph, and his brothers, and his Abba's Bayit, only their little ones and their flocks and their herds they left in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both Merkavot, chariots, and horsemen, and it was a very great company. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond the Yarden river. And there they mourned with a great and very severe lamentation. And he mourned for his Abba, Sheva Yamim, 7 days.
So that's one of the few rabbinic traditions that's actually biblical, because we see here that mourning was 7 days. In Judaism, they call it sitting Shiva. So when an Orthodox Jewish family has a loss in their family, they cover the mirrors, they lock the doors, they don't take phone calls, and they just sit in their home mourning for 7 days. So we see that custom all the way back in the time of Joseph.
Vemos la costumbre del duelo que se lleva a lo largo de 7 yamim aquí con respecto a la muerte de Jacob, observada por su hijo José. Y esta tradición todavía la tienen en el judaísmo conocida como Shiva, donde atrancan la puerta, se sientan en el suelo, hacen duelo por su familiar, cubren los espejos y pasan esos 7 yamim entregados a esa dolencia.
So the Torah time of mourning is not 2 hours and then we go have lunch and pretend the guy never existed.
Así que el tiempo de duelo
in Torah, we meditate on the man or the woman's life that has passed for 7 days.
Así que
we do what we call in Judaism Shiva call. They do a Shiva call. You visit the family, you extend your condolences.
En Torah no solo tomamos dos horas para acordarnos de la persona que ha fallecido, como si no hubiera existido. Nos tomamos una semana entera y realmente nos profundizamos en la meditación de lo que fue la vida de tal persona, dándole estima a su vida y realmente deshaciéndonos del todo lo que se pueda de ese dolor, esos 7 yamim.
Verse 11.
Verso 11, capítulo 50 de Génesis 11.
And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, "This is a severe mourning for the Mitzrayim," the Egyptians. Therefore the name of it was called Havel Mitzrayim, which is beyond the Yarden. And his sons did to him according to all he commanded them. For his sons carried him into the land of Canaan, and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, that Abraham bought along with the field as a possession for a burial place from Ephron the Hittite before Mamre. And Joseph returned to Mitzrayim, he and his brothers, and all that went up with him to bury his Abba, for he had buried his Abba. And when Joseph's brothers saw that their Abba was dead, they said, "Joseph maybe will hate us and will certainly repay us all the evil that we did to him." And they sent a messenger to Joseph, saying, "Your Abba did command before he died, saying, so shall you say to Joseph, please forgive the trespass of your brothers for their sin, for they did to you evil. And now we beg you, forgive the trespass of the Avadim of the Elohim of your Abba." And Joseph wept when they spoke to him.
So here we see Israel, or Jacob,
Así que aquí vemos a Israel o a Jacob
in his role as a Melchizedek.
en su rol como
Because
Melquisedec,
he was in the
Un
order of
Melquisedec.
Melchizedek.
porque él estaba en la orden de
Which
Melquisedec,
started with who?
que inició con quién.
Nobody's sure.
Nadie tiene certeza,
Certainly Abraham.
pero ciertamente con Abraham.
Some say Enoch.
Algunos dicen Enoch,
Some even say Adam.
otros dicen que Adán.
Yahusha is the last high priest in that order.
Yahusha es el último sumo ministro en esa orden.
But Jacob was the high priest of the order of Melchizedek, even when our people were in Egypt.
Pero Jacob era el sumo ministro en la orden de Melquisedec, aun cuando nuestro pueblo se encontraba en Egipto.
And we see that here in verse 17.
Y lo vemos aquí en el verso 17,
He intercedes
en donde él hace intercesión
and gives instructions.
y da instrucciones.
18.
Verso 18.
And his brothers also went and fell down before his face. And they said, "See, we will be your Avadim, your servants." And Joseph said to them, "Fear not, for I am in the place of Elohim? But as for you, you thought evil against me."
So that was if you notice in the Torah, you'll see that a lot as you read the scriptures. It's an expression. Am I in the place of Elohim?
Esta expresión la vemos muy seguido en las escrituras. ¿Estoy yo en lugar de Elohim?
Today we say the same thing, but in a different slang.
Hoy lo decimos en la misma cosa, pero en diferente manera.
We say, am I God?
Decimos, ¿soy yo Dios?
But in Scripture, it's the same thing.
Pero en la escritura es lo mismo.
Am I in the place
Estoy yo en el lugar
of Elohim?
de
And
Elohim.
you'll see that a lot.
Y lo verán frecuente.
Verse 20.
Verso 20.
But as for you, you thought evil against me, but Elohim meant it for tov, for good, to bring it to pass, as it is this yom, to save many people alive. Why? Because they would have starved to death. Right? Now therefore fear
And here we
not.
have the principle that it's better that one man suffer than the whole nation perish. And we see that again in Messiah. That's a principle throughout substitutionary vicarious blood atonement. It's better for one animal to suffer, even though Yahweh doesn't want animals to suffer, than for the people to suffer. We see that principle, vicarious atonement, substitutionary atonement, over and over again.
Aquí vemos el principio de la expiación sustitucionaria en reemplazamiento
And we have the opposite.
a través de una sola persona, donde el pensamiento es que es mejor que una persona
Many of
muera
us
en lugar de que todo el pueblo sufra muerte a causa del pecado de
have
todos.
more empathy for a pet than for a person.
Muchos de nosotros tenemos más empatía
So,
para
who's-
nuestras
who's thinking is
mascotas
screwed up,
que para
Yahweh's or
una
ours?
persona. ¿Y quién piensa
Ah.
más equivocadamente, Yahweh
Ours,
o
right?
nosotros?
It's better for
Yahuwah.
one animal to suffer
Yahweh piensa mejor.
as a sacrifice
Él piensa que es
than
mejor
for
que un
all of
animal
us to go to hell
sufra
and be separated from Him.
como sacrificio en lugar de que el resto de
But
nosotros
as pet owners,
suframos
we get
y
empathetic.
vayamos al infierno. Pero como dueños de mascotas nos da empatía
And we get it backwards.
y lo vemos al revés.
Which means we don't always have the mind of Yahweh.
Que quiere decir que no siempre tenemos la mente de Yahuwah.
But on the other hand,
But on the other hand,
the
what
Torah,
do you think? This is Fiddler. But on the other hand,
Pero por la otra parte, dice la rabina.
but on the other
but on the
hand,
other hand,
okay,
On the other
never
hand.
mind.
go ahead, give me the other hand.
The other hand is that in Torah practices,
En las prácticas de Torah,
at least from what I know,
por lo menos de lo que yo sé,
it's required to slaughter animals in such a way that they will not suffer.
se requiere hacer la matanza de los
Sure.
animales de una manera para que no
Well,
sufran.
But let's be realistic. It minimizes.
Pero seamos realísticos,
Yeah.
minimiza el dolor.
Let's be real. Let's be honest.
Seamos sinceros.
In other words, the difference between
Butcher.
beating an animal to death
En
and
otras
then-
palabras, la diferencia entre golpear a un animal hasta que muera
Pouring the blood.
and beating an animal to death and then slaughtering it,
a
or
diferencia de degollarlo,
shooting an animal with very poor aim and allowing it to suffer until it
y
dies.
disparar a un animal con pobre sin poder señalar o apuntarle correctamente y permitir que sufra hasta que muera
Is different from slitting the animal's throat and doing it in a way that it's going to get done as swiftly as possible.
es diferente a degollar el animal, cortar el área del cuello para que pueda sufrir lo menos posible
So that the animal does not suffer.
Or
y que muera lo más rápido posible para que no muera,
Amen.
para que no sufra tanto.
Verse 21.
Verso 21.
Now therefore fear not, I will nourish you and your little ones. And he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. And Joseph dwelt in Mitzrayim, in Egypt, he and his Abbas by it, and Joseph lived 110 years. And Joseph saw Ephraim's children until the third generation. The children also of Machir, the son of Menashe, were brought up upon Joseph's knees.
Some claim Machira, America, are the descendants of Machir. So I don't want to argue. I don't care. If that's what you believe, a blessing on your head, mazel tov. But some people believe that's where America comes from. The sons of Machir through Manasseh.
Algunas personas creen que el país de América vino a través de Machir, el hijo de Manashe. Y es posible.
And Joseph,
No sé.
No lo sabemos con certeza.
verse 24. And
Verso
Joseph
24.
said to his brothers, I will soon die, and Elohim will surely visit you, and bring you out of this land to the land which he swore to Abraham, to Yitzchak, and to Yaakov. And Joseph took an oath from the children of Israel, saying, Elohim will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones from here. So Joseph died 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Mizraim.
Baruch Hashem Yahuwah.
Baruch Hashem Yahuwah.
As the Torah is being redressed,
Así como la Torah está siendo recubierta.
the brachot, the blessings,
Las bendiciones.
every week following the reading
Cada semana siguiendo la lectura
of the Torah Parsha.
de la porción de Torah.
Page 11 and 12.
Página 11 y
On top,
12.
page 12.
Arriba en la página 12 del sitio.
Baruch atah Yahuwah
Baruch Shemo.
Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Yahuwah
Baruch Shemo.
Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Blessed are you, Yahuwah, our Elohim, King of the universe, who has given us the Torah of truth and has planted eternal life in our midst. Blessed are you, Yahuwah, giver of the Torah, in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Which of course means, truly, truly, it is true. Everyone standing?
Todo el mundo de pie,
Everyone standing, please, pointing
señalando
to the uplifted Torah.
a la Torah que está delante de ustedes.
The living Torah is Yahusha.
La Torah viviente es
He says, if
Yahusha.
I'm lifted up, you point to me, and I'm lifted up, I will draw all men
Dice, si yo soy levantado y me señalan a mí, yo atraeré a todos los hombres
to my side,
a mi lado,
to myself.
a mí.
Vezor HaTorah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael al pi Yahuwah beyad Moshe. Amen. This is the Torah that Moshe placed before the children of Israel from the mouth of Yahuwah through the hand of Moshe Rabbeinu, our teacher, of blessed memory.
Esta es la Torah que Moshe puso delante de los hijos de Israel, de la boca de Yahuwah a través de la mano de Moshe, nuestro maestro, de Baruch recuerdo.
As the Torah is returned to the Aron Kodesh, we will sing Etz Chaim Ki.
Así como la Torah es llevada al Aron Kodesh, entonaremos la entonación de Eitz Chaim.
Etz Chaim Hi Lemachasikim Ba V'tocheha Meushar Derachecha Darchei Noam V'kol Netivotecha Shalom.
Amen. What day is it?
It is Shabbat.
It is Shabbat. Now what do we do? What's one of the first things we do on Shabbat? We find someone and say, excuse me while I love on you. We give you a big hug. It is Shabbat. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah. And then, of course, we want to welcome our new brother, Justin, to the community. Give him a big Gorilla Monsoon bear hug. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Don't forget to turn the monitor, please, all the way there so we can monitor the sound during the worship. Hello? Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. And turn it warm. All the way. Facing you. Shabbat Shalom. We have to adjust it as we go along so the people around the world can have a good sound. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. It is Shabbat. Praise His name. Our delight has come. Our weekly delight has come. Let the redeemed of Yahuwah say so. Let the redeemed of Yahuwah say so. So, hallelujah. Hineni, hineni. Hineni around the world, brothers and sisters. Hineni coming to worship the King.
Heme aquí adorar a Dios. Heme aquí adorar a
Avinu Malkeinu, Father our King. Yeah, we delight in your Shabbat. We enter your rest and your praises we sing. Yeah, we delight in your Shabbat. We delight, we delight, we delight. Just as you rested when your work was done, we enter your rest by the word of your Son, your Son, your Son. We delight, we delight, we delight in your Shabbat. We delight, we delight, we delight in your Shabbat. Oh yeah, again. We delight, I delight, we delight in your Shabbat. You delight in your Shabbat? Let's go. We delight, let's go. You delight, let's go. We delight in your Shabbat. Worship the King. We delight, let's go. We delight in your Shabbat. Hear the wave offering. We delight, we delight, we delight in your Shabbat. Your presence is here. We delight, we delight, we delight, we delight, we delight in your Shabbat. Everyone, we delight. Come on, delight. Praise the King. Come on, get him up. Come on and praise him. Get out of your seat and cry.
I delight,
We delight, you delight, you delight. We delight, Avino Martino, our Father, our King. We delight in your Shabbat. We enter your rest and your praises we sing. God, we delight in your Shabbat. One more time. We delight, we delight, we delight, we delight in your Shabbat. We delight, we one more time. We delight, we delight, we
perfect shalom.
Delight, Israel, drink of the water of life. You come from a distance. You come from a great distance. Drink of the water of life.
Bebe del
The
agua.
living Elohim is walking between the broken pieces of our lives.
Yahuwah está caminando entre esas piezas quebrantadas.
Behar Bain.
Behar
Who's going to
Bain.
pick you up when your life is broken?
¿Quién te va a levantar cuando tú
Nobody
estás
but our King.
quebrantada?
Nobody but our Redeemer.
Nadie más que nuestro Rey, nuestro Redentor.
He is a kinsman Redeemer for us.
Él es nuestro Redentor.
He is a mighty kinsman
Es un
Redeemer.
Redentor poderoso.
Oh, yes, He is.
Baruch Hashem.
There is none closer to us. There is none ahead of us. Somebody's come to praise Him today. Somebody doesn't mind shouting. Somebody's not embarrassed. Somebody doesn't care what people think. I said you. Lift your voices and sing. What? For He is God and He
Exalted your name.
Hallelujah. your personal time with the King. It's your time with the King. It's only once a week. Don't worry about what people around you are thinking. He saved you at a different time than he saved them. This has nothing to do with them. It has to do with you. Some of you, there's no way out of the funk that you're in now. Mental, financial. You're going to have to praise your way out of it. You're going to have to praise your way out of it. Rise up early in the morning. Sleep. Together in the hope of the bounty and the abundant life that waits for us in the Messiah Yahushua. Prosper. 1, 2, 3, 4. look for his latter-day mouthpieces, and you will prosper. Surely, surely,
You and your house.
I shall do nothing without my prophet.
In the presence of Yahuwah.
Yahweh Elohim shall do nothing without his prophet. Surely Elohim shall do nothing without first revealing these things to his
Grow, Israel, grow.
Would to Yahuwah,
The mustard seed is growing.
all his people
The mustard seed
would be
is a
prophets.
huge tree.
Would to Yahuwah,
Growing.
Yahuwah that is on Caleb and on Hushah,
Roots by roots.
would be on all of Israel. I would to Yahuwah. And the power of your resurrection.
Who gave his life for your roots to be established.
Take prisoners
The kingdom of the everlasting.
of your sheep.
Everlasting love.
Abba, take prisoners
Everlasting truth.
of these sheep.
Everlasting love.
Take prisoners
Everlasting truth.
for your servant.
Everlasting love. Everlasting truth.
Take yourself prisoners
Everlasting love.
from his mouth.
Everlasting truth.
Take unto yourself
Everlasting
from his Take for yourself prisoners of hope.
pardon of
I
God,
hear the bells of freedom
the pardon of the Almighty
to make
God.
you a prisoner of service.
With the trees of
Prisoner of hope.
trees of righteousness.
Tell the Lord, the Master Yahuwah, who is of pure eyes and will behold iniquity, is searching to and fro in the eyes of someone that he can make himself strong
The soil of growth, the soil of
to be a
success,
prisoner,
the soil of triumph,
a prisoner of
the
hope.
soil of Israel,
The bell, the ringing of the bell,
the soil,
calling prisoner.
no rocks of scandal,
When you lose your life,
no thorns
for
and
me,
thistles,
said Yahuwah, you have found it.
no waywardness.
When you hold on to your life,
On the
trying to
margin
fix
of the
everything and everybody, you will lose your life. You will lose your life.
Lose your life in the topsoil. Lose your life in the topsoil. Plant your life. Bury your life. Growing you in the topsoil. In the
Somebody that knows his voice. Lift it up. Lift up your praises to the King. There he is.
I will praise you.
Someone's been born again.
I will praise you like the trees of the field. I will clap my hands. I will praise you like the trees that dance with the crowd. The trees that move with the world. I establish the
Oh, I feel his presence here today. He's a gentle Savior. That warm. The bridegroom is here. As in the days of Shlomo, as in the days of Let the order of Melchizedek arise this morning, this afternoon, to proclaim Yuhei, the rising of the sun, going down of the same. His name shall be praised.
especiales a ti, a través de el Kohen Hagadosh, Yahusha Moshiach, que sea una fragancia que deleite tu ley. Que sea aceptable a ti, Abba, a pesar de mí mismo, a pesar de mis fallas, a pesar de mis debilidades. Recibe mi regalo, Abacados, que es lo único que tengo. Una aleluya quebrantada, Abacados.
Daughters and the sons of Zion are grateful today. A new chapter has begun. This ministry. Yosef.
Él es digno.
Mashiach ben David.
Mashiach, hijo de Yosef, hijo de David.
Mashiach Kohen Leolam.
Mashiach, el Cohen, el ministro,
Kohen HaGadol.
que es para siempre.
Darche
En el
Malkitzedek.
Darje, camino de
Kohen
Melquisedec.
HaGadol.
En el camino, en el sendero
Hallelujah.
de Melquisedec.
Hallelujah. We worship our Kohen HaGadol. We grab the pomegranates on his tunic. Come on, somebody. And grab the ruach. Close your eyes. Close your eyes and grab those pomegranates on the edge of his tunic. Touch the turban on his head with the name of Allah. Yud Hey, Ooh Hey. This is your day. This is your hour to touch the high priest of Israel, that it may not be contaminated with religion, man's works, to be righteous, that it be not contaminated with religious leaders and popery and the clay, the abominable clay of Islam. This is your day. This is your hour to touch the turban of the high priest. Hey! Hallelujah! 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 Come on, open your mouth. Come and praise. I'm so quiet in here. Next time I'm going to hire the children's choir. They will praise me. I'll assemble a bunch of rocks. And they will praise me. Of the King who wrote on our hearts the greatest story ever told, Yahusha and me. The greatest story on earth. Yahusha and you. We don't serve him on our own today. We serve him as Kohanim. God's name might be said. Nice and gentle, Chris. Out of time.
Yahusha,
the author and finisher
el autor y el que concluye
of our emunah.
tu emuná.
Because
Que
others
completa
will
tu
fall.
emuná. Porque otros sí caerán,
You, my friend,
pero tú, amigo mío,
look unto Yahusha.
ve a Yahusha,
He is a friend
que Él es un amigo
who sticks closer than a
que
brother.
se apega más cercano que un ángel, un fraterno.
Because others fall does not mean you must fall.
Ya que otros están cayendo no quiere decir que tú tienes que caer.
Hallelujah,
Tienes que continuar
hallelujah.
fuerte. Hadá, hadá, unik hazek.
Steadfast,
Firme,
like a flint.
firme, como una flecha,
Serve him
con una meta, con un enfoque para servirle.
all the days of your life.
Todos los días de tu Jaín vida.
No matter, no matter what others do.
No importa lo que hagan los demás.
No matter what others do.
No importa lo que hagan los demás.
Chase.
Ve tras de
His kingdom
Yahuwah.
come.
El llamado de
You know,
Yahuwah.
we're speaking to a sister in Australia,
Hablamos con una jota en Australia
and then another sister from Alaska.
y otra jota en Alaska.
This is not entertainment.
Y esto no es
This is serious
entretenimiento.
business. You learn
Es
to
el
worship,
negocio en
you will
serio.
live. If you don't learn to worship with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, you will die. If you don't die physically, you're going to die inside
Si tú no
spiritually.
aprendes a adorar
This
y
is not a
orar
game. When I get up here, I'm
de
leading
todo tu
warfare.
corazón, todo tu
I'm leading a
ser,
battle.
toda tu mente,
For the weapons of our warfare and our
cuando lo
carnal,
haces vives,
mighty through our worship to
cuando no lo
Yahuwah,
haces mueres.
to pull down strongholds,
Así derribamos
take every thought
fortalezas,
captive
tomamos
that
todo
wants to invade our space with the King.
que quiere invadir nuestro espacio.
This is
con
a
el
war.
Señor.
This is not an
Esta es
entertainment
una
studio.
guerra. Esto no es entretenimiento. Estamos luchando en la rúa.
Daniel worshiped Yahweh.
Daniel adoraba a Yahuwah.
The prince of Persia kicked Gabriel back.
Cuando el príncipe
And a battle ensued.
Persia quería detener a
You could be healed today of diabetes. You could be healed today of blood pressure. But there's a battle in the heavens and you're not participating.
de tu enfermedad, pero tú no estás participando en tu sanación.
I need to
Dale
break through right
jaleo.
now. But
Dale jaleo.
having said all that,
Dale a Yahuwah.
I was speaking to a sister in Alaska who has cancer.
Hablando de una joven en Alaska que tiene
Since she's
cáncer.
began to be part of our
Y
ministry,
desde que ella comenzó a ser parte de nuestro ministerio,
the doctors have said they haven't seen any growth.
los doctores le han dicho que no han visto crecimiento
And she said,
de las células cancerosas.
whenever your people get together and worship on
Ella dice,
Shabbat,
cuando nuestro pueblo se reúne a adorar en el Shabbat,
I feel the anointing.
yo siento la unción
And I begin to cry at
y
home.
comienzo a llorar.
To wish I was there.
Queriendo estar ahí con
I begin to
ustedes.
cry at home.
Comienzo a llorar aquí en
This
mi
is not
casa.
entertainment. This is spiritual
Esto no
warfare,
es
friends.
entretenimiento, esta es guerra espiritual. Y si tú no estás entonando, no estás
But
participando
I'm
en la
going to make
guerra.
an exception
Y
today.
puedes ser un blanco de ataque.
I'm going to take a request.
Voy a tomar una petición.
She said, Shalia,
Ella dijo, Sholía,
can I ask you a
¿te
favor?
puedo pedir un
In
favor
the name of Yahuwah.
en el nombre de Yahuwah?
Every time I hear that
Cada vez
song,
que oigo esa shir, esa entonación,
hallelujah,
aleluya,
I feel more healing and more
siento
cancer
más sanación
on the retreat.
que se está retirando.
So I'm going to do something now that I very rarely do.
Voy a hacer algo que
This is a song
muy pocas
request,
veces hago. Esta es una petición
even though it's
natural,
not entertainment.
aunque no es entretenimiento.
Heard there was a secret chord that Dawood would play, and it pleased Yahweh. But you don't really care for worship music, do you? Goes like this. The fourth, the fifth, the minor she needed proof. You done saw her bathing on the roof. Her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to a kitchen chair. She broke off your throne. She cut your hair, and from your lips she drew that hair. The Kadoshim in vain. Lord, one time I didn't even know their name. But if I did, well, really, what is that to you? It's a blaze of light in every word. It doesn't matter which you were, the holy or the broken.
Manténganse en actitud de expectativa.
Reach out of my comfort zone.
Voy a ir fuera de mi zona de confort.
To sing something that touched my heart.
A entonar algo que ha tocado mi corazón.
Had no rehearsal time, maybe 20 minutes.
No he podido ensayar esto quizás por 20 minutos.
But I don't care.
Pero no me importa.
I think of that coming city that
Pienso en esa ciudad.
Whose foundations,
cuyos fundamentos,
whose builder and maker is Yahuwah.
constructor y hacedor es Jehová.
That's why I wanted to sing from my heart
Quiero entonar de mi ser
to the King.
al Rey.
And I don't expect it to sound good because like I said, I had no rehearsal
Y
time.
no espero que esto suene Nadie viendo a su alrededor.
No one looking around, please.
Nadie viendo a su alrededor.
Baruch Hashem Yahuwah.
Baruch Hashem
Hallelujah. The redeemed. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let us wait on Yahuwah.
Esperemos en Yahuwah.
Holiness, our righteousness.
Nuestra apartación, nuestra kedushá, nuestra rectitud
Comes from our King.
viene de nuestro Rey.
As we wait in His presence.
Al esperar en su presencia.
For the words of life.
Las palabras de Jaim.
With every eye closed, please. No one looking around, please. Ruach is in this place. Cloud of glory has settled on Goshen B'Safar as a new chapter is being written.
Se está escribiendo un nuevo capítulo aquí en Goshen B'Safar.
Baruch Hashem Yahuwah.
Exaltado sea el nombre de Yahuwah.
At the beginning of Yeshayahu, Isaiah 10,
Al principio de Isaías capítulo 10,
the prophet says,
el profeta dice,
woe to those
hay de aquellos
who decree unrighteous decrees.
que decretan decretos inrectos.
And what more unrighteous decree is there
¿Y qué más decreto inrecto hay que
than to give not only permission but direction?
el darle no solamente permiso, pero dirección?
That a woman has a right to murder her baby
Que una mujer tiene el derecho de asesinar a su bebé.
Come on.
right up until the time and even after the birth.
Hasta el punto de su nacimiento y aún hasta después de su nacimiento.
Those who have made that decree have blood on their hands because the Master Yahusha
Porque el soberano Yahusha, él mismo,
gave that conception.
dio esa concepción.
He was forming that life
Estaba él formando esa Jaim, esa
in the
vida,
womb.
en ese vientre.
And when that baby is murdered,
Y cuando ese bebé es asesinado,
the Master takes it
El soberano lo toma
into his care and
en
custody.
su cuidado y en su custodia.
And he watches the murderers
Y ve a los asesinos
and gives them time
y les
to
da tiempo.
repent,
Les da tiempo para arrepentirse,
to turn around,
para voltear de su
to
camino,
make
para
teshuvah.
hacer teshuva, arrepentimiento.
Because even that abomination
Porque aún esa abominación
can be washed clean
puede ser labrada
out of
limpia
our records.
Yes.
fuera de
Hallelujah.
nuestros archivos.
Hallelujah.
Aleluya.
And blessed are those
Y Baruch son aquellos
who make teshuvah.
que hacen teshuva.
Luke 15, 1 through 7
Lucas 15, 1 a 7.
says there's a party thrown in the heavens
Dice que se hace un festejo en los Shamaim
Amen.
for every lost sheep
por cada oveja
Amen.
perdida
Hallelujah.
who comes home
que regresa a casa
to the
Amen.
fold of the Master Yahushua
Al rebaño.
Torah.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah.
Baruch Hashem Yahuwah. Aleluya.
Hashem Yahuwah. Amen.
Blessed are those who do,
Baruch son aquellos que hacen
so that they don't have to suffer the second death,
para que no tengan que sufrir la segunda muerte,
so that they can be
para que ellos puedan ser
servants
siervos
to those babies whom they formerly murdered.
a
Come
esos
on, now.
bebés a quienes anteriormente
Tell the
ellos
truth and shame the
mismos
devil.
asesinaron.
Amen.
Come on.
With joy and exaltation
Con gozo y exaltación
in the presence of the Master Yahushua.
en la presencia del soberano Yahusha.
B'Shem Yahushua
En el
HaMashiach.
nombre de Yahusha nuestro Mashiach.
Amen.
Amén.
Amen.
Anyone else with a word from Yahuwah?
¿Alguien más que tenga palabra de Yahuwah?
Anyone else?
¿Alguien más?
The bima is now open.
Está abierta la bima.
Rivka, you have a word?
Rivka, ¿tiene usted palabra?
Anybody?
¿Alguien?
Baruch haba.
Baruch haba, bienvenido.
Ah, Yahushua HaMashiach.
En el nombre de Yahusha nuestro Mashiach.
Amen.
See the small birds,
Vean las aves pequeñas,
see the small rabbits,
los conejitos
the
pequeños,
ducks,
los patitos,
even the serpents,
aún las serpientes,
the cattle,
el ganado,
the horses,
los caballos.
everything that I have created
Todo lo que yo he creado
has a purpose.
tiene un propósito.
They all have a call,
Todos tienen un llamado.
and they follow that because I have instructed and instilled that in them.
Y ellos lo siguen porque yo lo he instruido y lo he puesto dentro de ellos.
Each one after its own kind.
Cada uno tras su género.
Observe the ant.
Observa a la hormiga.
She works all summer
Trabaja todo el verano
so she can rest
para que pueda descansar
and have plenty.
y tener bastante.
Where does that leave you?
¿A dónde te deja eso?
Where is your heart?
¿En dónde está tu
Where is your
corazón?
life?
¿Dónde está tu
Is
leer?
it divided?
¿Está dividido?
Is it looking for other things to fill the need?
¿Está buscando otras cosas que llenen tus necesidades?
I've left examples all around you
He dejado ejemplos a todo tu alrededor
so that you can see and there is no excuse.
para que puedas ver y no haya excusa.
And when you stand before me, what will you
Y
say?
cuando estés delante de mí, ¿qué dirás?
In whose name do you come?
¿En qué nombre vienes tú?
In whose name are you calling?
¿En qué nombre estás clamando?
For I am I
Porque yo
am.
soy, yo soy.
And I call you to Teshuvah
Y te llamo a la teshuva.
while you can still make Teshuvah.
Mientras que todavía puedes hacer teshuva.
Come to the Yahusha.
Ven a Yahusha.
Be bathed in the sacrificial
Sé bañado en
washing.
el lavamiento de la ofrenda.
Receive forgiveness.
Recibe el perdón.
If you don't receive forgiveness,
Si no recibes el perdón,
where are you?
¿en dónde estás?
I am the way,
Yo soy el
I am
camino,
the truth,
yo soy la
and the
verdad
life.
y soy la
Amén.
No
vida.
one comes to the Abba except through Yahushua
Y
HaMashiach.
nadie viene a la más que a través de
You
Yahushua
are
el
acting in
Mesías.
any way like you're following a living Elohim.
Si tú
You
estás,
have to come through Him first.
tienes que
Amén.
venir a través de él primero.
You can't earn it.
No te lo puedes
You
ganar,
can't work it.
no puedes
You can't
trabajarlo,
pretend.
no puedes hacer como pretender, no puedes agregar.
Without Him, there is no way.
Sin él no hay camino.
Look to the animals.
Mira a los
Look
animales,
to creation.
observa la creación.
It's quietly speaking. with you.
Está hablando calladitamente mi realidad.
Your eyes as flint.
Tus ojos como una flecha.
Look to the left.
Ve a la
Don't
izquierda.
look to the right.
No veas a la izquierda ni a
Your
la
eyes
derecha.
on me because I will keep you.
Mantén tus ojos en mí porque yo te guardaré. Nadie más te va a hacer.
Everything will fall away, but I remain.
Todo se caerá, pero
If
yo
you remain in
permanezco.
me,
Y si tú permaneces en mí,
you live.
vives.
Hmm.
Baruch Hashem.
Tov, tov. Tov, tov word.
Palabra tuya.
There's a sweet anointing
Hay una unción dulce
flowing into this place.
fluyendo en este lugar.
You can reach out
Puedes
and touch it.
alcanzar a tocarla.
It can change you,
Puede cambiarte,
set you free.
liberarte.
If only
Si solo
you can see.
puedes ver.
He reaches his hand forth for you.
Él alcanza tu mano hacia ti.
Hallelujah.
There's a cry coming from the heavens.
Hay un clamor viniendo de los Shamaim.
We are approaching the final hour.
Si estamos acercándonos al tiempo
And
final.
there's a great cry coming from the heavens.
Y hay un gran clamor de los Shamaim.
Reach out, grab
Alcanza,
hold,
agárrate,
bring unto yourself
trae en ti mismo
that presence.
esa presencia.
Open up your hearts and your homes
Habla en sus corazones y sus hogares
for that sweet, sweet presence.
para esa presencia tan dulce.
For he who abides in me,
Porque el que permanece en mí,
I abide in you.
yo permanezco en ti.
How do you know when to go left or right?
¿Cómo sabes ir a la derecha o a
How
la
do you know
izquierda?
what the way is straight?
¿Cómo sabes si el camino es derecho?
But if I tell you,
Pero si yo te lo digo,
do not be a stumbling block to yourself and to others,
no seas una piedra de tropiezo para ti mismo ni para otros.
but yield.
Pero, César,
But let me guide you.
déjame que yo te guíe.
Let me be with you.
Déjame que yo esté contigo.
Let me.
Déjame.
For we are all under submission.
Porque todos estamos bajo
We are all
sumisión.
under authority.
Todos estamos bajo autoridad.
Even as I was.
¿Saben?
Even as I was.
Así como yo lo estuve,
So you are.
así están ustedes.
Therefore let
Por lo tanto, permítanme liderarlos.
Let me guide you.
Permítanme guiarlos.
And all these things
Y todas estas cosas
can and will be added unto you.
pueden ser y serán añadidas a ti.
All of your needs
Todas tus
you
necesidades.
should have no worry of.
No deberías de preocuparte.
For if I am with you,
Porque si yo estoy contigo,
so is all the power and authority of my kingdom.
igual todo el poder y la autoridad de mi reino.
Be at peace, my children,
Tengan shalom, hijos míos.
for I am with you.
Porque yo estoy con ustedes.
Amen.
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem Yahuwah.
Hashem Yahuwah.
Wonderful.
Maravilloso.
Wonderful words.
Palabras maravillosas.
And all saying the same.
Y todas diciendo lo mismo.
Repent, put it
Arrepiéntanse.
back on the throne,
Ponlo de nuevo en el trono.
and it will go well with you.
Y te irá todo.
Baruch Hashem. How many felt His presence, or feel His presence?
¿Cuántos sienten su presencia?
I mean, we have to be spiritually dense, right?
Tenemos que ser tensos
To feel His presence.
para no sentir su presencia.
For me, today is a special day.
Para mí hoy es un día especial.
Anytime that we grow as an assembly,
Cada vez que crecemos como asamblea
and the Yahweh adds to our numbers,
y que Yahuwah agrega nuestros números,
it's a blessing.
es una braca.
And so our brother Justin
Y así que nuestro ají Justin
has come to us by way of Tampa.
ha venido a nosotros a través de
And
Tampa.
from what I understand, to stay, right?
Y de lo que yo entiendo ya vino a
That
quedarse.
makes me happy.
Eso me alegra.
That makes all of us happy.
Eso nos alegra a todos.
Because it takes a decision
Porque requiere una
to
decisión
search Him
para buscarle.
and to begin a
Y para
process
comenzar un proceso
to be planted.
de ser plantado.
And we don't want our brother
Y
Justin
no queremos que nuestro ají
to
Justin
be like many over the years
sea como muchos a través de los años,
who come and go.
que vienen y se van.
We are here until the return of
Estamos
Yahushua,
aquí hasta el retorno de
unless He
Yahushua.
specifically tells us not to
Solo que
be,
Él específicamente nos diga que no,
or moves us to a new season.
o nos vaya a una nueva
And then it's
temporada
done right.
y luego se haga correctamente.
If He's moving you to a new
Si
season,
Él te está moviendo a una
you
temporada
come and
nueva,
go in shalom.
vienes y te vas en
If you
Shalom.
come and go in contention,
Si vienes y vas en contención,
it's not Yahweh.
no es Yahuwah.
So as far as our brother,
Así que en cuanto a nuestro
he
ají,
came and sampled a couple of our services,
Él vino a probar unos cuantos de nuestros
and
servicios
he saw that we didn't bite,
y vio que no mordíamos.
and we saw him as someone who was
Y lo vimos como alguien
seeking Yahuwah
que estaba buscando a Yahuwah
with his heart,
con su corazón.
and was a sponge,
Y fue
right?
una esponja,
Someone who receives
alguien que recibe
what others put into him,
lo que otros ponen en
and
él.
he has a ruach
Y tiene una ruach
of shalom
de shalom
and humility,
y humildad.
and so we praise Yahuwah
Así que exaltamos a
for our
Yahuwah
brother
por nuestro ají
who's being added to our
que
community.
está siendo agregado a nuestra comunidad.
And even though we're not Scientology,
Y aunque no somos la
you
cientología,
can leave at any time.
pueden irse en cualquier
We don't
momento.
want you to leave.
No queremos
Our
que-
philosophy is we are here.
Nuestra filosofía es que estamos aquí.
Even when people offend us, we're still here.
Aun cuando la gente nos ofende, seguimos
That
aquí.
shows our maturity.
Eso enseña nuestra madurez.
And so we bless Yahuwah
Así que exaltamos a Yahuwah
for our brother Justin.
por nuestro ají Justin.
And he'll learn
Y él
the way we
aprenderá
do things, which is
cómo hacemos las cosas.
usually pretty laid back.
Que es usualmente relajadamente.
Not always,
No siempre,
but usually.
pero usualmente.
So let's give Yahuwah a big todah rabah.
Así que les voy
For our brother,
por nuestro
Justin.
ají Justin.
And please take time
Y por favor tómense tiempo
to get to know him,
para conocerlo,
chat with him,
hablar con él
and become chaverim.
y hacerse
We're
javelí.
not here to just tolerate one
No
another.
estamos aquí solo para tolerarnos el uno al
We're
otro.
here to be chaverim,
Estamos aquí para ser javelí,
buddies.
amigos.
And Yahuwah will use all of us.
Y Yahuwah nos usará a
And
todos.
he has used JR,
Usó a JR
don't call me Junior, JR, to do a wonderful preparation job
para hacer una gran obra de preparación
with his cousin.
con su primo.
And now we will work together
Y hoy trabajaremos juntos
to build up the field of souls.
para levantar el campo de almas.
So Baruch Hashem Yahuwah.
Así que exaltados sea
Are you happy?
Baruch
When
Hashem
we
Yahuwah.
grow, when Yahweh adds to our numbers, what a blessing.
Cuando Yahuwah, cuando
And
hace
our-
que crezcamos,
and our-
que agrega en nuestros números.
And our prayer is that He always adds the right people.
Y nuestra oración que
That's the
siempre
key.
agrega a la gente correcta, esa es la clave.
Baruch Hashem Yahuwah.
Baruch Hashem Yahuwah.
You know, I found over the years, and I don't mean this in any bad way or personally,
He encontrado a
honestly,
través de los años, y esto no lo digo de mal manera, sinceramente,
I throw it out as a fact.
pero lo he hecho como hecho.
Even going back to the Miami days.
Aún retrocediendo hasta los tiempos de
In
Miami.
Miami, we would have, let's say one person would leave,
Digamos, una persona se iba
and
de
another would come
Miami
and take their seat.
y otra venía a tomar su asiento.
Sometimes we didn't grow.
A veces no crecíamos,
Sometimes we didn't decrease.
a veces no disminuíamos nuestros números.
But Yahweh wants people here
Pero Yahuwah quiere gente aquí
who want to be here.
que quieren estar
And I've
aquí.
seen that many times
Y eso lo he visto muchas
over the
veces
years.
a través de los
And
años.
so, Baruch Hashem Yahweh.
Así que
We
exaltamos a
want
Yahuwah.
people to want to be here.
Queremos personas que quieren estar
Amén.
aquí. Baruch Hashem.
We want everyone who wants to be here.
Queremos a todos los que quieren estar aquí.
And that's the key.
Y esa es la clave.
That's the key.
Esa es la
You
clave.
want to be here?
¿Quieres estar aquí?
Yah put you here.
Yahuwah te puso aquí.
We want you
Te
here.
queremos aquí.
Amen?
Ven.
But we've seen that over the years.
Pero lo hemos visto a lo largo de los
Empty
años.
seats don't stay empty long.
Los asientos vacíos no se quedan vacíos.
Others
por
come
largo.
take that place.
Otros vienen a tomar su lugar.
And growth is not just in numbers.
Y el crecimiento no es solo en los números.
Growth is in maturity
El crecimiento es en la madurez
and stickability
y en el permanecer,
and steadfastness.
la firmeza.
We have a couple of quick announcements.
Tenemos un par de anuncios.
Tomorrow is Chodesh number 12.
Mañana es Chodesh número 12.
So we expect to see you at 12.
Esperamos verlos a las 12.
And then on Shabbat, March the 2nd, is
el
the
Shabbat.
Chatuna.
El Shabbat 2 de marzo es la Hatuna
Big Amos.
de Amos Aleph.
And I can't say big because she's not heavy. I can't say little because then she thinks I'm belittling her. So let's just settle with elegant. Big Amos and elegant Sophia will be taking the plunge.
Estarán echándose el clavado.
Hopefully we won't need to call Roto-Rooter if things go bad, but they'll be taking the plunge
Estarán tomándose el clavado.
on Shabbat,
El Shabbat,
March the 2nd.
segundo de marzo.
And March the 3rd,
Y el 3 de marzo
we have a housewarming
tenemos un calentamiento de
at the
casa
home of Priest McClure
en la casa del ministro McClure
and his lovely bride,
y su preciosa
who's been
esposa,
crazy enough to follow our ministry for what, 15 years?
que ha estado lo suficientemente loca de
20
seguir
years.
nuestro ministerio
She
por
was a
20 años.
Moshe groupie. I'm serious. I would go to Oregon,
Era una grupera de
Antonia
Moshe.
would be there. I would
Ahí
go
estaba
to
Antonia en
I would go
Oregon.
to Fort Myers.
Estaba en Fort Myers,
She'd be there.
en las conferencias.
She was one of the original Moshe groupies.
Era una de las originales.
But I
gruperas
know
de Moshe.
I don't want any groupies.
Pero yo sé que no quiero gruperas.
Only Yahuwah groupies.
Solo Yahuwah. Gruperas de Yahuwah.
You followed us right our ministry for over 20 years.
Ha seguido nuestro ministerio por 20 años.
Either you're smart to do so,
O es inteligente.
or you're a glutton for a little punishment. But we're honored to have them finally here as well in our community. And that's the kind of brethren and sisterin that we're honored to have. So we have a housewarming
Así que tenemos un calentamiento, global warming,
and we're having a global warming and a Purim party
una fiesta de Purim,
on Sunday, March the 3rd.
el 3 de marzo domingo.
I say
Yo digo
bring
que
a nice gift
traigan un regalito
to bless their housewarming.
para darle braca a su casita.
They say we don't want any
Ellos
gifts.
dicen, no queremos regalos.
So now you guys got to decide what
Así
to
que
do.
ya tienen que decidir qué hacer.
But if we want to love on folks, then
Pero si queremos amar a las
we need the
personas,
freedom to do that.
necesitamos la libertad de
And
hacerlo.
some of the folks from Miami hopefully will stay long enough
Y esperamos que algunas de los ajim de Miami se
Chris.
queden lo largo
and not leave at 1 o'clock.
y no se vayan a la 1 de la tarde.
You better stay till 2, bro.
Quédense hasta las 2.
So anyway, but we hope they do
We
stay
have chains for them.
at least into the afternoon. And they will be joining us on that Shabbat morning.
Estarán con nosotros esa mañana de Shabbat.
So on Shabbat, March 2nd, please come early. Make sure you get a seat.
Vengan temprano el 2 de marzo para conseguir su asiento.
And then 6 o'clock at the wedding
Que a las 6 de la tarde en la boda,
at Sophia's.
en la casa de
And
Elegante,
Sunday,
Sofía.
mhm,
Future Amos by
Sunday 12 o'clock
Y el domingo a las 12 de la tarde
at the McClures.
en la casa de los
So with that,
McClures.
we're going to pay our maaser.
Con eso vamos a pagar nuestro más.
And what can you say? What can you say? We have to be faithful
Tenemos que ser leales
in little things.
en las cosas pequeñas.
And he will be faithful. He's always faithful to
Y él
us.
será leal a nosotros.
And so, again,
Y una vez más,
everyone in this assembly,
todos en esta asamblea,
in this community,
en esta comunidad,
tithes.
dan su diezmo.
A few key people tithe around the world,
Unas cuantas personas claves dan su diezmo alrededor del mundo.
and that makes a difference.
Y eso hace la
Because
diferencia.
look at me, please. With the folks that are here,
Las personas que están aquí,
your tithes pays the bills.
sus diezmos pagan los gastos.
But that's all it does.
Pero eso es lo único que hacen.
With the folks that help us around the
Con
world,
las personas que nos ayudan alrededor del
we're able
mundo,
to stay ahead of the 8 ball.
podemos estar avanzando
So every person is
en
important.
nuestros proyectos.
Every single
Así que
person.
toda persona es constructora.
We're going to put a link on the screen,
Vamos aquí a poner el enlace.
and we're going to ask you to
Los
please
enlaces.
obey the Master
Y les pedimos que por favor obedezcan al
and
maestro
provide for the kingdom.
y provean para el reino.
This is fruitful ministry.
Este es ministerio fructífero.
How many, can I see a show of hands? How many lives have been literally turned around and changed by this ministry?
¿Cuántas vidas han sido literalmente transformadas por este ministerio?
Me too.
Y yo igual.
So we know
Así que
we
sabemos,
bring the tithe into the storehouse
traemos el diezmo a la casa de Yahuwah, la bodega de Yahuwah,
where we are being fed.
en donde estamos comiendo.
Elder Benjamin,
Aquí Benjamín.
choir,
Coro.
let's take a quick 5-minute break. We have a lot to cover. I hope my voice
Un breve,
holds up. We'll be back with the word of Yahuwah in a few minutes.
tomémonos un breve descanso de 5
Wait for
minutos.
Elder Benjamin and then you can stretch.
Regresamos en unos cuantos minutitos.
Audience, we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Audiencia, regresamos en 5 minutos.
Baruch Hashem.
Exaltado sea el nombre
Yahuwah.
de Yahuwah.
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem Yahuwah.
¿Qué pasa?
Getting-
You may kick it off of there. Reinsert this. Más algo.